We're strong.
We're
probably.
strong. Can we put that away?
Today we got Jacques with us, who is from South Africa and went through the whole course with us. Really cool dude. So yeah, Jacques, do you want to tell us a little bit about like your background and like why you did this and that sort of thing?
All right. Well, as you guys know, I'm from South Africa. I'm 24 years old. My background, like very suburban, very Western, even though coming from South Africa. So I had a very privileged upbringing, as a lot of white people do in South Africa, unfortunately. So basically all I've been doing is just going to school, finished high school, went straight into university, and yeah, I've just been studying. And obviously I got fed up with it, so I decided, you know, I need to do something else and get out of South Africa as well, for many different reasons. So I decided to come here and just try something entirely different and new.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what is it that you got fed up with?
Like South Africa, it's very, like you have to be very politically correct, man.
Really?
And the corrupt government and shit like that. So in terms of political correctness, you know, being white and like shit like that, you have to be very aware of what you say, and like it's constantly around you, racism, and you know, it's something that I hate very much, and being surrounded by it on a daily basis, it's quite tiring. It's exhausting.
So you hate being around the racist stuff, but
Yeah.
also like the political correctness is just taken like so
Yeah,
far.
yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Like, other reasons would be crime as well. Like
Where were you from in South Africa?
Johannesburg.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest city in one of the biggest cities in South Africa, and so like the crime is also very tiring. Like there's crime here as well, but it's different. Like there's some places in Africa, if you walk down the street, you're not gonna get home.
Yeah.
I've been victimized so many times I can't even count. It's the whole kind of thing that you constantly need to be aware of what's going on around you, just to try and stay safe. So I mean, I'm not being a very good ambassador for my country. I just realized that. But yeah, I'll get to the positive elements.
Right.
at some
Right.
point,
Yeah.
It's not only bad. I mean.
Right. But before you get to the positive elements,
Yeah.
what are some things that have happened to you?
In terms of crime.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got quite a few. It's not a lot of fun stories.
Yeah.
So like one time I was walking back home from varsity, like midday. Like,
From
like,
what?
From university. Sorry.
Oh.
You go on varsity?
Varsity, yeah. Yeah.
Did you say far or var? Varsity.
Varsity, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that wasn't the thing. I was walking home and this guy just came up next to me, very friendly. That's usually how they do it. Like I figured out their approach. Like they all have the same approach, kind of. Well, most of them. And he just started talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, so my friend up there, his phone got stolen, and he's
And
like,
right now, like signals are going off.
yeah,
in
I'm
your
like,
head,
oh fuck, okay, here we go, right? And so he's like, show me your phone. I want to see if you stole it. And I'm like, all right. And I show him my phone. Like I keep it very tightly in my hand because I know what's gonna happen now. And I put it back in my pocket. And it's like, because he said it was an iPhone, so he was stupid. I think he was on drugs. He assumed that I would have an iPhone, probably because I'm white.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an iPhone. So like, and he just started going. It's like, no, I know you stole it. I know you stole it. And then he started getting aggressive because I was just fed up. I was like, dude, just fuck off, leave me alone. And he pulled out a gun. And so like, what he did was, he put his arm around me, and we were like, busy street, man. Like cars going by, people walking by. And he just kept on walking with me, pressing the gun against my hip. Told me that, yeah, okay, so you see there's a car over there on the corner. Get into that car, and then we're gonna take it from there. So I'm like, oh fuck, all right, I'm in big trouble, right? So the guy left me, and I kept on walking, and I see this car, and I'm like, there's no way I can get into this car. Like, you've got no idea what's gonna happen then, and it's not gonna be good. So I just chickened around across the road through traffic. Luckily, I got through without getting hit, and something which is beautifully ironic, I ran into a cemetery.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because there was a cemetery like across the road. I ran into the cemetery. There were some security guards, and the car came and saw that I was like in the cemetery, got security guards and drove off. So I got away very, very lucky on that one.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
So tell us about the good things about
Good things.
Yeah, about Johannesburg.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Johannesburg is the biggest man-made forest in the world.
What do you mean?
Man-made?
Man-made forest. So
Yeah.
what I mean by that is like planted trees.
Right.
So it's like a jungle, man.
Yeah.
It's like a concrete
In the city?
jungle. In the city, yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like if you go to like a mountain, there's not a lot of mountains in Johannesburg. It's pretty flat, but you do get them. And you look over the city, like you basically just see trees, but in between the trees are thousands of houses.
That's
and
really
buildings.
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. So it's very beautiful. That's Johannesburg. I mean, the culture is also great, very diverse, and I love that. We've got 11 official languages.
Yeah.
So I mean, it never gets boring in terms of culture.
So what about like growing up? Was besides like enjoying music and listening to music, was there anything like do you have a history with it?
In their history with music.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually quite funny because my family is very musically orientated. So, like both my brothers and my sister my sister is brilliant at the piano. Both my
Yeah.
brothers are also brilliant at the piano and guitar as well. And me stupidly, like I'm so mad at myself for
Yeah.
being in this position. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do everything like my siblings are doing.
Yeah.
And so I went the like sporting route. I did a
Okay.
lot of sport, whereas they didn't. Because I don't know, I took up the flute. My parents would just like do something.
That would have been
yeah.
badass. Flute is so cool.
And I actually remember how that went down because I wasn't interested. Because I didn't want to do music. I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
And I told my mother that if she bought me like a packet of I think it was like Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
then I'll play the flute.
Yeah,
that was my
negotiator.
incentive. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so obviously that didn't last too long because I hated it, and my teacher hated me because I mean
You hated the instrument,
yeah,
and then
so,
yeah.
so music has just always been my passion. It's the only passion that I've ever had. Like I kind of always feel like I've never had passion for anything. And it's like
we
it's
had this
very
conversation.
pessimistic viewpoint.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If you talk to any of my friends, I'm very pessimistic and negative and whatnot, and I always say no, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like fine line between pessimism and realism, but
What's one thing you think that everyone in the world should do at least once in their lifetime?
shit. Apart from drugs,
Yeah,
I'm just joking. I don't know. I feel kind of like it's a cop out to say travel because I'm not well traveled at all.
Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah. So this is the first time I'm actually traveling properly,
Yeah.
and I think doing it alone as well. I think that's
Traveling alone
yeah,
is a very
like,
that's a very good.
I think you learn a lot from that. You learn a lot about yourself. Obviously, I've only been doing this for a month, and I'm already like reaping the benefits.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
already feel different, like
Yeah.
in a way that I can't really explain. But I already feel something developing that I haven't felt before.
Yeah.
Just going on your own mission. It's a very like it's very anxious to just be like, okay, I'm gonna leave my country that I've been in my entire life and come to Vietnam on your own.
Yeah.
Like I don't know anyone in this country. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen a familiar face since I've left, and as nervous as that can be and as like homesick you can get, I think it's the development that you get from that. It's very cool. I'm only starting to feel it now, and I'm gonna chase it for a while. Definitely.
That's great,
Yeah.
man.
And you look at us, like, I feel like a pussy compared to you. Like,
Coming
you know,
out with-
I come out with two of my best friends,
Yeah.
and it's so comfortable. And I mean, to a certain extent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So no, I would love. Annie and I've talked about that we would love to travel by ourselves at
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
point.
For sure.
Like you guys can go in like different directions in Asia or whatever, and just keep doing the business and like get different perspectives at the same time.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would say also very cliched, but make mistakes. I'm very good at making mistakes.
Yeah. That's a
Um,
great.
And I always find
Good
that
strength.
yeah, it's an interesting strength. You get a lot of interesting experiences by making mistakes.
Yeah.
That at least I can say. Some of the best stories that I have had, if you look at it, like technically it was a mistake, but it's still fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends how do you define a mistake, I guess.
You know, you talked briefly about apartheid and how your heritage was a part of that. I'm really curious of two things, and I think a lot of people are curious. Is from your point of view as a South African, what was it like growing up in the remnants of apartheid? Has it made progress? Like tell us a little bit about that situation.
Yeah, so that's a sticky situation,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. it's rough, man, because
And feel free to talk freely.
yeah, sure. So growing up like post-apartheid it's rough because you deal with a lot of white guilt. Well, not everyone does, but like I do,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel if you go to an apartment museum in South Africa, it's like it's heartbreaking as fuck. Like it's really so bad that there's no way that I can't feel a little bit like responsible for it, because I mean that's my family basically. Like
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
trace it back, and it's in my blood, and like that wants me to get rid of all my blood. You know, it's difficult also in the sense that you know it's you never know really if what you're achieving is because you worked hard for it, because we're so privileged. Like we still have so much white people now, I'm speaking about in general in South Africa, still carry a lot of the privilege over from that era.
Yeah.
Like there's such a big gap between white wealth and black like poor environments. So it's difficult to feel that you got where you are on your own, because it always feels like you're getting it from the apartheid, and that's not a good feeling at all. So yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, the racism thing that I already brought up as well. Post-apartheid, we're not like anywhere close to equality.
Yeah.
I guess essentially that's where we want to be, like coming from being like a democracy for like 22 years now, and we still got such a long way to go.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't
so
imagine.
if I bring America into this kind
Yeah.
of picture, I mean America's been a democracy for more than 100 years.
200 almost.
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
very fucking long time, and it
Yeah.
still has problems.
Yeah.
I mean, like with race, and
More
like
than 200.
yeah, and democracy. It's actually I don't know if it's a working concept, but that's a whole another debate. I mean, 22 years, like our democracy is still in its infancy, really. It's still got a long way to go.
So, do you have any like lenses that you look at the world through, or philosophies, or like kind of values that you have that whatever the situation, wherever you are, you always have and see the world through?
Whatever you do and wherever you find the willpower to do whatever you want to do, it just comes from yourself, comes from the inside. Like how I look at it, it's, the power comes from inside, not from above. So that's kind of my philosophy of looking at things.
What's your best purchase in the last 6 months?
Best purchase?
It's something like under $100 or
Yeah.
Cigarettes?
Okay.
Like, I need my cigarettes, man. And I buy that every day, so I mean, I guess that would be the most obvious one.
When did you start smoking?
Oh shit! At a very young age, I don't like. It's very fucked up. But I started.
What, 6?
No, well, close actually. But so I mean, I was a little shit, really. I just always wanted to do shit that I wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
And my
Youngest
friend.
child syndrome.
Yeah.
Right there.
And I made friends with the same people with the same mentality as well.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I started experimenting with cigarettes like when I was 9 years old. Just like, I remember when I got caught, I was like 10 or 9.
That's crazy.
And I had 3 packets of cigarettes on me when my
Yeah.
parents caught me, and they were like, whoa, I got into so much shit.
Yeah.
Like, you're finding a 10-year-old child with 3 packets of cigarettes. Why would you even have 3 packets of cigarettes?
How could you,
And that's when they said, "You're playing the flute."
Yeah. There you go, yeah. Maybe that's actually what happened. Makes more sense now.
That's funny.
But actually smoking properly every day was like, I guess, 13 years old.
You ever thought about stopping?
Yeah, for sure. I stopped for like 1 month, and I even used pills to do that. And I kind of blame it on, because I have to blame it on something, because I'm a flawed human being.
Yeah.
Because I got out of high school and I went to university, and I was living on campus, and it was a very big change, and like my girlfriend at the time was at another university, so that was also quite difficult, like in another town.
Yeah.
And so I stopped for a month, because I was like, after school I'm gonna stop when I go to university. That
Yeah.
was my plan for
Yeah.
quite a while. And obviously shit got just too hectic, and like you go to cigarettes when shit gets hard. So I couldn't really stop. But I would like to at some point in my life. I don't know, probably when it's too late already.
Yeah.
If I had to make an assumption, but
Well,
we'll see.
I think it was Mark Twain. I could be wrong, but he said quitting smoking is the easiest thing. I've done
Yeah.
it hundreds of times.
There we go. Exactly. Yeah. Also, like, it's so cheap here, man. If it wasn't,
Oh yeah, that
How
doesn't
much?
help.
How much per peg?
so it's like 23,000.
It's like
Oh,
a
hell
dollar.
yeah.
23,000 dongs. So I don't know
buck.
how many.
A buck.
It's a
Yeah,
buck.
it's
Buck for a
nothing,
pack.
man. That's like.
You know, an interesting thing. So Evan mentioned the marketing of cigarettes, and this is just something that I think is, as a marketer, it's like evil and brilliant. Is in America back in, I think it was the 70s, 80s, when it became illegal to have like tobacco advertisements on TV.
Oh yeah.
It was actually the tobacco industry that pushed for it to be illegal to have tobacco advertisements
Really?
on TV,
Yeah.
because the law said that for every minute of pro-tobacco, like tobacco advertisements, they had to do a free minute of anti-tobacco advertisements.
Oh, shit,
So the
okay.
tobacco industry was like, ban it,
Yeah.
ban it, and they pushed hard, the lobbyists, and got it taken off. So, just...
Yeah, but major tobacco industry is like it's they're very questionable work ethic that they have. Yeah.
for sure.
Do you have any embarrassing travel stories?
Let me actually start with like what I did. I think it was yesterday, like the health check I needed to do.
Yeah.
Weirdest fucking experience of my life, man. And like, so what happened is I got there, and obviously I'm worried because now I'm doing a full health check in Vietnam. People that don't speak English. I don't know what the hospital's are gonna look like. Is it gonna be clean or whatever? And it ended up being a pretty nice hospital. Having said that, and I got
Is it
there.
a public or private? Because there's a difference.
I'm not sure really.
Yeah.
I can't say.
Oh, it's fine, yeah.
It's like that doesn't say private or public.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I got there and like they're just constantly taking me from one place to another place in the hospital, and they checked everything. But so at the beginning it was like a 4-hour process. At the beginning, like they were talking and they're talking to me, but obviously a lot of the times I can't understand what they're saying because they're trying to speak English, but it's very bad English. So somewhere I heard prostate. Like, and I wasn't even thinking about it, right? So I wasn't thinking about I might be doing a prostate exam, but I think subconsciously, like I was worried about it, and my subconscious just made it clear to my conscience that, prostate, it might happen. And so I heard that and I was like, fuck, okay, so this might happen. And so we go from one place to like draw blood and do a urine sample, and then you go to another place to do x-rays. Then you go to another place to like they check my teeth and my eyes, and every time I go to like the different section, I'm like, is this it? Is
See a
this-
bucket of lube.
yeah, and yeah. So the one place I looked at it was like I looked at the name and I looked at like the pictures on the walls, and I was like, fuck, this might be it. And
The name and the
yeah,
pictures on the
yeah, like
walls.
I don't know, just trying to make connections.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I sit down and I look next to me and I see latex examination gloves. I was like, fuck, okay, it's gonna happen. I start making peace with it. I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's probably good that you're getting your prostate checked. Maybe it's time. I was like, just don't think about it. Go to another place. Go to your happy place while it's happening. Because I wasn't ready for that. And I go and I sit down in the chair, and it's this old Vietnamese guy, and I knew he was gonna be some old Vietnamese guy. And he just like looked down my throat, looked in my ears, and I left. So I went through all of this kind of torture, thinking that it's coming, and it never happened. I was actually a little bit pissed off that it didn't happen. 'Cause I
Same thing with like the
through all of
MP3
that.
player.
Yeah, fucking exactly. Like I went through all of that fucking torment, and it didn't happen.
You at the door just begging for a prostate exam.
Wait, as they're pushing you out of the
Yeah.
What about?
But yeah, also one of the things that they did is like I have no idea what's going on. I lie in bed and I take off my shirt and they start put clamps around my arms, and they start putting these things on my chest, like suction things, and on my legs as well. And I just lie there for 10 minutes with like a beeping sound next to me. I've got no idea what's going on. It's like such a weird feeling.
What did it end up being?
So I spoke to someone else, and he thought that might have been their way of like doing heart rate. I think it's like a very old-fashioned way of like testing your heart rate.
Yeah.
Because the beeping sound.
Well, if it's an old-fashioned way of testing your heart rate, you might as well
Yeah,
just be
wouldn't
doing
it
this.
just-
So I'm a little bit.
Yeah, so
confused.
it's probably not that. I don't know why the fuck
They
they did
probably
that.
had
I've never seen that in my
a
life.
medical equipment salesperson come in and go, listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
This is what you need.
representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, so a story that you guys know about already, but for the sake of this interview, I'll go through it again. Hopefully this is the last time. But so Boy Vien.
Yes!
Boy Vien, okay. Backpacker Street, crazy fucking place. We went out, it was St. Paddy's Day. And then after a while, like, people went home, but if I start having a good time, I don't stop until, like, I literally can't anymore. And I met a group of Vietnamese people, very friendly. I started hanging out with them. They're like, yeah, okay, let's show you around. I was so keen, man, having a group of cool Vietnamese guys showing me around the place, taking me to the places that they like to go to. So I was totally in, man. I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
And so we're having a good time. This was one guy who could speak the best English, and the rest of them their English wasn't that great. So most of the time I was speaking to him, and we were got to the point it was like 3:30, like 4 o'clock, and we still drinking, and we went to like some club and we started dancing, having a good time. I'm just having a good time. Like, I'm in fucking Vietnam. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just having a good time. And this guy pulls me on my arm and he takes me into a dark corner and he jumps me. And he just starts like putting his tongue down my throat. So, yeah,
Just jumps you.
Yeah,
Man.
he literally jumped me, man. And like, he went at it. He was very confident about it. So initially my reaction was quite aggressive because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting this at all. Like, I thought he maybe just wanted to tell me something because it was too loud on the dance floor. And yeah, so I pushed him away and I was like, dude, what's going on? What are you doing? And he was confused because obviously I give off some kind of gay vibe. He was under the impression that my intentions were to get with him the whole time. I don't know where that came from or where he got it from, but so I ended up feeling quite bad about it. And this is where it gets interesting. I don't know, man. Like, I always think back at like the decisions that I'm making. But yeah, so I made out with him for like 5 or 10 seconds. My first homosexual experience in Vietnam. Like, I don't know, it's a very weird thing. Like, I'm not homosexual, but I'm also not homophobic. I can say that. But I definitely now more than ever know that I'm not homosexual.
Yeah, you know.
I did not enjoy that at all.
So you made out with him because you felt bad?
I don't know, yeah, and I don't know what to make of that.
It's also 4 in the morning, you're fucking drinking.
Yeah, you've been drunk.
Yeah, I was very drunk, so you have to bring that into consideration as well.
Thing, you don't want to make him lose face.
And he was so nice about it, man. Like, he was really a sweet guy, and I felt so bad.
Such a sweet guy.
Yeah, and so I just went for it, man. I was like, fuck it, Vietnam. Let me make out with this guy.
That is the funniest shit, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And actually, also, like, what happened after that, it's the first time I got on the back of a bike. I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And so it's like, 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and the sun is just starting to get up. So I got in like a random bike that was just next to the road, which probably wasn't very wise. Because, but I did it because I was drunk and I make decisions like that.
Yeah.
And I got on this bike and we were driving through Ho Chi Minh City for like 20 minutes, and it was so amazing, man. It was like, I don't know how to explain it, with the sun coming up and just cruising through the city. Totally. It wasn't busy, so like we could just cruise all the way home. And forgetting about what just happened. And just that was one of the like moments that I kind of realized that this is amazing. I'm happy that I'm here.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Just cruising through the city for 5 o'clock in the morning with the sun coming up. Biggest smile on my face for like 20 minutes. I must have looked like a total retard, but yeah, it was good.
Just thinking about that guy you made out with,
Yeah.
this big smile. No, I just imagine. What would you tell your 20-year-old self? If you had one, if you could say one thing.
One thing: stop hating yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, but
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I mean, being realistic or rather pessimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, being hard on yourself. Like when things go wrong, in the same way I would say that my philosophy is, to just go with the flow and take hits as they come. At the same time, you find yourself in positions where you start blaming yourself, and you start looking at yourself and you don't like the person that you see, and you can get lost in that very quickly. And just I wish that I'm at a point now where I don't do it as much anymore. But when I was 20 years old, it was a little bit of a different story. So yeah, just general, don't be too hard on yourself, really.
Yeah. What is one, like, you love music, so what's one, like, artist that you think everybody should know about?
Okay, so not everyone would necessarily enjoy it, but so post-rock is a genre that I really love.
Post-rock?
Post-rock. Okay, so it's very ambient. It generally doesn't have lyrics. So the band that I'm specifically want to see more than anything in this world is Explosions in the Sky.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah. So like that music to me is
so
just...
is that post-rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you call the genre,
Okay,
Gotcha.
no, they're great. So I'm
yeah,
into it.
great.
I'm
Yeah.
into your genre.
Yeah.
They do a great
Other
job.
than that, I have to go into metal as well, because that's also one of my favorite genres. Gojira, which is actually, funny enough, that's... I think it's like Mandarin Japanese for Godzilla. Initially they were called Godzilla, but due to copyright and shit like that, they had to change it, so they just changed it to Gojira. It's a metal band from...
Dude,
that's one way of doing
that's
it.
hilarious, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's a metal band from France.
Okay.
But also like, it's like an environmentally conscious metal band. So the lyrics are very good. The one time though, actually a funny story, we were in Cape Town in like a kind of a shady area at a bar, and all my friends were around the table and phone was on the table, and this guy just came to the table, took the phone and started walking, and one of my friends saw it and he stood up and he's like, dude, that guy just jacked your phone. And he obviously heard it, and we all got up and this fucking guy started running. So what ended up happening is like we all started running after him, and we were running down the streets and like just yelling, stop him, and people like from different bars started chasing after him as well. It's like just this big fucking mob of people running after this one guy. And so like eventually he started screaming, I dropped it, so he dropped it on the floor and we couldn't catch him. But I'm very happy we didn't catch him, because that's no, it would have been bad for everyone, because like when that kind of shit happens, you get aggressive, and like it comes out of nowhere, and you can't control yourself. And the mob mentality as well.
Right.
I don't want to think about what would have happened if that guy got caught.
How many people do you think you had?
Oh, we were like easily like 15, 20 people.
People from other bars.
Yeah,
Stop him!
Yeah, because the thing is, everyone knows what's happening right now. So everyone's like, fuck it, let's go get that guy, because I've also been in this situation. So there's a kind of unity, I guess, there as well. So the one time where this happened, and I was listening to earphones, once again a mistake, something you shouldn't do, but I was like in my neighborhood, and it feels very safe, but it's not. But I mean, if you've been living there for a very long time, it feels safe. So I was just walking to gym, and I had my earphones in my ears, and I was listening to music from like an MP3 player. This was a while back, and there was a very old MP3 player, and thank God I left my phone at home. And so I had the backpack, and I had the MP3 player in my pocket, and he obviously thought it was a phone. So he's like, give me your cell phone, and I tell him, dude, I don't have my cell phone. And he's like, he points to my pocket and the earphones, and I take out my MP3 player, and I'm like, here, take it. Because he had a gun, so I was like, I'm just gonna give you my shit, and he didn't want it. He was like, he gave it back to me. Like, I was like, okay, well, I was actually offended. Like, if you're gonna put me in this situation, at least fucking take something. And so
you pull out a Zune, and he's like, no, dude, no
Zune.
And so I put it back in my pocket, and he was like, walk. And I was like, okay. Alright, just another day in South Africa, I guess.
That is so funny.
Fuck, man.
I'm going to, like, I'm pronouncing it wrong, Dong Tap. It's in the Mekong Delta. So, like, very green, all the rivers. It's isolated, to definitely very different to the city. So I'm going to check that out. I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but as I've been saying, I'm going to find out.
Totally.
So, like, you do some partying here. How are you gonna fill that time? Like, what are you planning on doing?
So what I'm planning on doing is, for the first time in my life, doing shit that I've always wanted to do, but not having time for.
Like the music stuff.
Yeah, music stuff. Like, I'll even start playing the guitar. Start doing yoga. Eating better. Like, I've got all these ideas. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. It's one of those things, that people go through. I'm gonna turn over a new leaf, kind of new page type thing. So I'm just gonna do shit that I've always wanted to do, but I've never had the time to, because
Yeah.
I'm always either working and drinking, and in between that, you don't find time for it because
Right.
I mean, you know.
And it's, you know, there's something to be said for putting yourself in an environment
Yeah.
where you can succeed in those things.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm very stressed about it as well, because I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope with that kind of isolation, because I've never been in such an environment, but at the same time,
It's gonna be a great
I've
lesson.
never been there, so I should probably do it.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
only that reason.
True.
You know?
I do want to say before we wrap it up that like I'm happy you got your place and like over in like the Mekong over by like Cambodia, yeah. But I am at the same time like kind of sad because it was really fun hanging out with you.
Yeah. If it's nice enough, maybe you guys
If
can
it's
come
nice
visit.
enough.
Yeah. I won't tell
Yeah.
you to come over just because I'm lonely. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Great. Well, I guess on that note, we appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. I enjoyed it.
We appreciate you, and Andy used the word the first time, because none of this is planned out. It isn't. But Andy used the word the first time. Thanks for being vulnerable and open to sharing your stories.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awesome, and yeah, we thank you from really the bottom of our hearts. It's super fun to do this.
Oh yeah, man, it's a pleasure.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Cool.